'Tis the season. Watch out, look around. Something's coming to town. Coming to your town.
For the first movie of Christmas Movie a Day, let's talk about Joseph Mary's Riot. You may not have heard of this one before because it came out in the wave of 90s direct-to-video VHS movies where on the shelf you could have the biggest blockbuster beside the lower budget release, if you will, but together, if you're renting it, you're going to watch that movie no matter what the budget is. This was a beautiful time to be a movie maker, especially if you were in Los Angeles, because you could make a company like PM Entertainment. If you've never heard of PM Entertainment before, they're one of the greatest action factories to ever exist. They've never gotten the attention that they deserve, but the movies that they were making in the 90s were at a level of entertainment that they really did not need to be at. When you're talking about PM Entertainment, you're talking about two major filmmakers, Joseph Mary and Richard Pepin. Joseph Mary was kind of the more nuts and bolts guy when it came to making movies, and Riot is one of his. Why is it a Christmas movie? Well, in that great action movie tradition, it takes place during Christmas. My obsession with kind of holiday movies probably stems from a love of something like Die Hard, or realizing that almost all of Shane Black's movies take place during the Christmas season. Just the idea of films being like secret Christmas pictures always like fills me with joy. I don't know why. Does it have perhaps some root in my own love of Christmas when I was growing up? Or is it just the idea that like these big, extravagant action set pieces, which I love, could be taking place over what is one of the most perceived to be cheerful holidays in a North American context? So Riot is a movie that I think has kind of fallen through the cracks because it has such a generic title, even though it has a great hook. Escape from New York, set during Christmas, starring Gary Daniels. If you don't know Gary Daniels, he is one of those, to be polite, a DTV action star. He did have some theatrically released films, like Fish of the North Star, for example, and he did actually act in City Hunter, which is a Jackie Chan film, where he plays one of the bad guys in one of the most meme sequences of Jackie Chan's career. But he's a guy that mostly made his bones on video. He is one of the most distinct stars as well because he is a physical specimen. He's a great martial artist. He knows how to sell stuff on screen. He's even talked about how he's a fan of Hong Kong cinema throughout his career and wanted to bring a kind of flavor of that to the roles that he was in. He is also a very, how do I say this nicely, polite sounding British gentleman.
Listen, mate, why don't you just calm down? We're not looking for any trouble. I know the riots have gotten everyone a little bit edgy. Why don't we just have a drink and forget about it? And
you may bounce off against it when you watch his movies for the first time, but when you really become a fan of Gary Daniels, of which I am a huge fan, I just love the mix of he is such a great performer and he's got a very specific persona on screen.
I would have given it up for you, Annalisa. I would have done anything for you.
In this case, he is the one that is put on the mission to go save someone in this disastrous city that is being rocked by riots. Yes, this does come in the wake of the LA riot. It's basically built on top of that, but given a Christmas sheen all over it. And it has that kind of warrior structure that you want, which is that Gary Daniels and his partner in this film, Sugar Ray Leonard, go into this riot-filled city where people can't stay on the streets and meet novelty gang after novelty gang. Do they meet a hockey team that they have to beat up? They do indeed. Is there some other nefarious thing going on in the background that they're going to have to blow up in some way? Of course there is. Now, I did mention that Gary Daniels was a fan of Hong Kong cinema and he did want to bring it to his performances, but you also need to put this film in the context where it was made, where Hong Kong cinema was known by a lot of stunt coordinators, but there was still a little bit of a stumbling block when it came to bringing it on screen, that even the best stunt coordinators who were trying to do it, short of someone like Steve Wang with Guyver 2, it's not quite there. So you just need to know that when you go into something like Riot. While the kind of hand-to-hand combat may not be as kind of effective as I like, oh man, the stunts themselves, car chases, explosions, people crashing through glass, that is top tier. PM Entertainment were kind of known as just putting so much action in their movies, it almost felt like they were doing it because they had to do it before a certain deadline or they would be charged for the action that they didn't use. So what you got here is Escape from New York, starring Gary Daniels and real-life boxer Sugar Ray Leonard, who doesn't have a major role, even though that he's credited as a sidekick. You got a great cavalcade of bad guys, a secret bad guy group, perhaps, that's behind it all, a almost post-apocalyptic thing, and most importantly, the Christmas environment.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Again, this movie, while it may look a little bit generic on the surface, it just hits all those perfect beats that I love, like that 90s action sheen, cranked to 11 in the way that only Joseph Mary and his PM Entertainment team could do. And I cannot forget that this film, the stunt coordinator on it, was Spiro Razatos, who is Hollywood stunt coordinator. Any of the greatest stunts, whether it be cars or flame gags, oftentimes Spiro is behind the scenes doing them. He is at the top shelf of where you can go in Hollywood. All the best Fast and the Furious films, he's been the stunt coordinator and second unit director. And in the 90s, he was cutting his teeth on all sorts of films, whether it be the Maniac Cops or it be the PM Entertainment joints. I mean, this film ends with such a wild, climax that just blows something like Baby Driver out of the water because it's set in a car park. That ends with a stunt that you see it and you go, did people get hurt doing that? Did someone just decide, if I die, it'll be good for the film, but let's see if we can pull it off. And that's what you want when you come to these movies, and it's filled with them. So if you need that action fix, Riot by PM Entertainment, directed by Joseph Mary, starring Gary Daniels, it's often the ones that I will point towards people. Now, is it a little bit flabby at 98 minutes? Yes, but that's kind of that VHS vibe. Even if there may be longueurs, maybe there's a few too many establishing shots at times, almost as if they contractually had to hit 98 minutes. You just soak it all in because movies like this, they do not exist. Even the streaming service movies. They can't reach this kind of practical, visceral fun. You can only get these, probably the last bastion of them, in PM Entertainment films, and Riot takes place during Christmas, so what better movie to watch during this holiday season?
Always coming to you, something magic in the night. Can you see it shining bright?
Seeing how I'm going to be doing this every day, do you have any Christmas movies you'd like to recommend? Write it down in the comments. If you have any questions as well, maybe I'll even do a question corner here, as if I'm a comic book or something like that. Should I have a title for the question corner? We'll see if enough people reply, and if you share this video as far as the eye can see. And if you'd like a whole back catalog of me talking about movies, you can check out The Important Cinema Club, a weekly podcast I do with Will Sloan, where we take a subject and we discuss it, like a little crash course, if you will. You can check it out wherever great podcasts are found. Somehow we were able to slip into there, The Important Cinema Club. And thank you again. I will see you tomorrow with another Christmas movie recommendation. Oh, and before I forget, this movie is very available. I believe it's on Amazon Prime, maybe Tubi in your region, but I wanted to start with one that is very easily accessible online, and Riot definitely is. Maybe it's even on YouTube. If you search Riot and the year it was made, you may be able to watch it there. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.